everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a super fascinating look at the economics of, well, everyday life. Look, if you run a household, you might not be throwing on a suit and tie every morning, but make absolutely no mistake. You are the ultimate household CEO. You are constantly juggling these tight budgets, competing home improvement projects, and let's be real, an ever-accumulating pile of clutter. Managing a home actually requires the exact same strategic, high-level thinking used by Fortune 500 executives. So today, we're going to empower you with some actual textbook managerial economic concepts that double as the ultimate life hacks for optimizing your home. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Why is it so incredibly hard to just let go of unused stuff gathering dust around the house? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's that ridiculously expensive jacket you bought 3 years ago that still has the tags on it. Or maybe it's that giant bread maker taking up half your kitchen counter. Well, it turns out we hold on to these things, letting them clutter up our physical and mental space because I saw this quote on a Reddit decluttering thread the other day, and I think it perfectly captures that feeling. They wrote, "The truth is, the money is gone. If the item has no use anymore, I can let it go." Wow, that is such a profound realization, isn't it? So, to help cure that lingering guilt, we're going to explore two formal economic tools that can actually help us cut through all that emotional noise. First, we really need to understand the difference between two key concepts: marginal analysis and incremental analysis. Think of marginal analysis as being all about those small, continuous, one more type decisions. It's kind of like slowly adjusting a dial. Incremental analysis, on the flip side, is used for much larger, discrete decisions. That's more like flipping a switch between two totally different paths. Let's start by looking at marginal analysis. There's this brilliantly simple example of thinking at the margin from a Marginal Revolution University lesson, and it's all about adjusting your TV volume. Just imagine you're sitting on the couch watching a movie. Step 1, you click the volume up just one notch to hear the dialogue a bit better. In this case, the marginal benefit, actually hearing the actors, totally outweighs the marginal cost. Step 2, you go up another notch. Boom, perfect volume. But then, step 3, you click it up just one more notch, a massive explosion happens on screen, and you completely wake up your roommates. Suddenly, the marginal cost of that one single extra notch absolutely demolished the marginal benefit. So what you were actually doing with that TV remote was managing marginal utility. Now, the textbook definition of this is the measure of relative satisfaction gained or lost from an increase or decrease in the consumption of a good or service. But in plain English, it means rational decision-making isn't about looking at the giant, big picture all at once. It's really about finding that exact, perfect optimum point where the marginal benefits of your next tiny action exactly equal the marginal costs. And this brilliantly illustrates how marginal thinking applies to really massive life choices too, like buying a house. When you look at data from a Pacific Rim real estate study that analyzed housing in Melbourne, comparing predicted reference prices from 2003 against 2008, you see something really interesting. As a family grows and decides they need one more bedroom, the marginal cost, meaning the massive price jump from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom house, does not stay flat at all. It shoots up significantly. So the household CEO has to carefully weigh the marginal utility of having that extra space against a steeply rising marginal cost. Now let's pivot back to those sneaky psychological traps of household management. Have you ever sat through a genuinely terrible movie just because you paid for the ticket? Honestly, I think we've all done this. Your brain is screaming, "I spent $15 on this. I have to stay to get my money's worth." But wait, are you really getting your money's worth by being absolutely miserable for 2 straight hours? No way. That $15 is already gone. You're literally just throwing good time after bad money at that point. And that perfectly leads us to these everyday sunk cost traps that pop up in our sources. Things like holding onto a boat you literally never use, keeping expensive clothes that haven't fit in years, or refusing to let go of an unbuilt model kit someone gifted you purely out of guilt. Think about it like this. A factory manager would never let their future business strategy be dictated by the past cost of 100 unsold bell-bottom jeans, right? In the exact same way, a homemaker shouldn't hold on to useless clutter just because it once had a shiny price tag. So how do we build this into a powerful new mindset? Well, an economist from Marginal Revolution University offers some incredibly straightforward advice here. Ignore what you can't change. Ignore the past. Focus on the future. When you're tackling that clutter in your home, the money you spent on that unused item is a sunk cost. Period. It cannot be recovered. Therefore, it should carry absolutely zero weight in your decision about whether to keep it taking up space today. But hey, if you're still finding yourself struggling with that guilt, there's a fantastic mindset shift that came straight from that Reddit decluttering community. Just reframe the purchase. Tell yourself that your money didn't just buy that physical shirt you never ended up wearing. It paid for the pleasant experience of window shopping, the thrill of the purchase, and hey, you even supported to retail workers. By viewing the sunk cost as the price of a really fun experience that is already naturally concluded, you can completely circumvent the guilt of letting the actual physical item go. All right, let's graduate to the macro level. Incremental analysis. So we're shifting gears from those small, daily, marginal adjustments to massive, sometimes headache-inducing home improvement projects. In managerial economics textbooks, you'll constantly see what's called the make or buy decision. A factory manager uses incremental analysis to decide whether to make a part in-house or just buy it from a supplier. And they do this by comparing only the new costs and revenues that will change based on that specific decision. For the household CEO, this translates to those classic dilemmas like, do we renovate the kitchen or do we finally landscape the yard? You have to look strictly at the true future value and the incremental costs of each discrete option. Now, what's really fascinating about this is how a data analyst named Christopher Yee applied this exact concept to his own house. He and his wife had just moved to Los Angeles and were staring down a massive list of conflicting projects. Here's a simplified version of his actual real-world spreadsheet dilemma. They had a critically vital $10,000 new roof, a $5,000 brick wall renovation they frankly didn't care much about, and an $800 couch they desperately needed. How on earth do you rank these objectively when the price tags and the personal importance levels are just so wildly different? Well, Yi created this incredibly elegant little algorithm to solve the household debate. Now, without getting too bogged down in the math here, the absolute genius of it is that it puts prices on a logarithmic scale. That means a $10 item and a $10,000 item can actually be compared fairly. At the exact same time, it puts the importance score on an exponential curve. So it mathematically forces the things that actually matter to your daily lived experience right to the top of the list. And just look at the results of that algorithm in action. The $800 couch, which had a super high importance rating of 9, shot up to the absolute top priority with a score of nearly 28. The vital but super expensive roof naturally came in second. But look at those brick walls. Despite costing $5,000, because its incremental utility of the family was so low and importance of just 1, it fell all the way to the absolute bottom with a score barely above 0. Incremental analysis literally saved them from blowing $5,000 on a totally low-value project. So let's bring all of this together for our household CEO masterclass. Number 1. Always try to think at the margin. This is huge for those continuous one more decisions, like adjusting the TV volume or deciding if you really need just one more throw pillow. Number 2, stop throwing good time after bad money. Just ignore those sunk costs entirely. Number 3, use incremental analysis to objectively compare the true future value of your major household projects. And finally, cut your losses on clutter. This is exactly how you maximize your home's true profit, which is your daily joy and utility. You are now fully equipped with the exact same analytical tools used by top economists and factory managers, and you are ready to apply them right in your own living room. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. What household project, or maybe what piece of hidden clutter buried in your closet, are you going to evaluate today using your brand new superpower of marginal thinking? Get out there and go optimize your home.